From 2007 to 2009, middle-aged single men in Japan began dying under strange circumstances. At first, the police paid no particular attention. But a single case eventually uncovered the dark secret of a woman the press would come to call the Black Widow. Kanae Kijima was born on November 27, 1974, in Nakashibetsu, Japan. She was the eldest of 4 siblings. Although the names of her relatives were never made public, it is known that her father was a notary and her mother a piano teacher. Coming from wealthy backgrounds, Kanae's parents strove to raise their children in a favorable environment and provide everything they needed. However, as the firstborn, Kanae received special attention. Inspired by her mother's musical passion, Kanae began developing her piano skills. She practiced for countless hours, and her talent soon became evident. She gave solo performances on various stages and took part in prestigious competitions. But music wasn't her only interest. By the age of 9, Kanae had already learned to cook, a trait her mother believed was a good sign for a future wife. To raise their children with discipline, her father enforced strict household rules, including limited access to television. He also gave the children very little spending money. Kanae easily adapted to these strict rules at first. She was active and a high-achieving student. However, dealing with the lack of spending money proved more difficult. She had a taste for luxury and extravagance. Her father's frugality felt unbearable, and soon she gave in to her impulses. In high school, Kanae learned that her father kept $21,000 in cash at home. She stole the money and spent it on designer clothes and handbags. When her father found out, he punished her by cutting her allowance. But instead of feeling remorse, Kanae became even more obsessed with getting money. This led her into the intriguing world of compensated dating. Gaining confidence, Kanae began offering companionship to older men in exchange for generous financial rewards. During this time, she got involved with a man in his 40s. His identity remains unknown. Under his influence, Kanae stole a bank book from one of her classmates, and together they withdrew about $80,000. When the authorities discovered the crime, both were arrested and brought to court. Since Kanae was still a minor, she received a suspended sentence. Despite the scandal, she continued to excel in school and graduated. She then moved to Tokyo to study economics in college, but quickly lost interest and dropped out. Even so, Kanae had fallen in love with the city and didn't want to leave. To survive, she took on a series of temporary and unstable jobs, including a stint as a waitress at a fast food restaurant. The long hours, difficult conditions, and low pay frustrated her. She constantly worried about making rent for an apartment she despised for being too modest. It was only a matter of time before Kanae developed another disturbing habit. She began stealing from stores, pretending to be a regular shopper. She stole cosmetics, books, and even cash. Although she was caught several times, she always managed to avoid arrest. But petty thefts weren't enough to support the lifestyle she desired. Kanae eventually quit her job and joined an escort club. These establishments offered services ranging from conversation and social outings to more intimate encounters. Clients could choose women based on their profiles. But at 150 centimeters tall and weighing 105 kilograms, Kanae didn't fit conventional beauty standards and initially received little attention. Everything changed when she met a pimp named Takeuchi, who became her mentor. He taught her how to please men, encouraged her to develop a full marketing strategy, and advised her to focus on middle-aged or older men, especially those with low self-esteem and no hope of being with the women they truly desired. Realizing the value of her skills and qualities, Kanae learned to form emotional bonds with her partners. She found that kindness and attentiveness not only attracted men but also earned their trust. She became an expert in the art of seduction, skillfully reading people and understanding their desires. Kanae had discovered a new, extraordinary power within herself. When Kanae felt confident enough, she decided to work independently. Over the following months, she entered into intimate relationships with numerous elderly men. Most of them were single or divorced, lonely, and emotionally vulnerable. Kanae would begin with friendship, then gradually deepen the bond. She skillfully manipulated her victims, making them believe they had found the love of their life. One such man, with whom she spent over a year, was wealthy and hopelessly in love. Kanae convinced him to take out a large loan, supposedly for a joint business venture. He trusted her so completely that he signed the paperwork without reading it. Shortly after receiving the money, she vanished. The man was left with nothing but debt. This was just one of many similar incidents. She didn't just deceive. She psychologically destroyed her victims. Kanae often instilled guilt and emotional dependence, making them pay for her expenses, support her, and shower her with gifts. Her manipulations were so subtle and calculated that the men didn't even realize they were being exploited. But one day, things didn't go according to plan. In 2009, the police recorded several cases of elderly men dying under suspicious circumstances. All of them died from carbon monoxide poisoning, and each case was initially ruled a suicide. However, one case drew particular attention: an 80-year-old man found in his car with a lit charcoal grill. Investigators discovered that shortly before his death, he had transferred all his assets to a woman named Kanae Kijima. That raised suspicion. The police launched an investigation. It turned out Kanae had been involved not only in this man's life, but also in the lives of others who had died in similar ways. She had met them through online dating sites, gained their trust, and shortly after they wrote her into their wills or transferred money to her, they died under suspicious circumstances. Investigators found links between at least 3 murder cases, all occurring several months apart. Each of them had the following in common: carbon monoxide poisoning, a romantic relationship with a woman, financial transfers before death. The same figure present in each case, Kanae Kijima. In August 2009, she was arrested. By then, she had already changed her name and address multiple times. A search of her apartment uncovered newspapers with obituaries, wills, copies of men's IDs, and a large amount of cash. Her arrest shocked the public. No one could believe that a seemingly gentle, middle-aged woman could be capable of such crimes. In court, Kanae behaved arrogantly. She denied all charges, claiming that the men had taken their own lives voluntarily, out of unrequited love. But the evidence told a different story. Witness testimonies, message exchanges, financial transactions, and handwriting analysis left no room for doubt. In 2012, Kanae Kijima was found guilty of murdering 3 men. She was sentenced to death by hanging. She appealed the verdict, but in 2017, the Supreme Court of Japan upheld the sentence.